The alien invasion. The world was in chaos. Alien ships darkened the skies, raining destruction upon Earth's cities. Humanity, caught off guard by the sudden invasion, found itself quickly overwhelmed. The aliens, known as the Zorgans, possessed advanced technology and seemingly limitless numbers. Governments crumbled, armies were decimated, and survivors were forced into hiding. Amidst the rubble of a once thriving metropolis, a small group of humans huddled together in an abandoned warehouse. Led by Captain Liam Jensen, a former Special Forces operative, the group had managed to evade the Zorgans' patrols and scavenge for supplies. But hope was dwindling with each passing day. "We can't keep running forever," Liam said, his voice heavy with exhaustion. "We need a plan, a way to fight back." "Fight back," scoffed Derek, a middle-aged man with a graying beard. "Have you seen what those things can do? We don't stand a chance." Liam understood Derek's despair, but giving up was not an option. He glanced around at the faces of his companions, men, women, and children, all looking to him for guidance. They had lost so much, but they still clung to the hope that somehow humanity would find a way to survive. As the group discussed their limited options, a young girl named Emily tugged on Liam's sleeve. "I miss my dog," she whispered, tears welling up in her eyes. "He always made me feel safe." Liam's heart ached for the child, remembering the bond he once shared with his own loyal canine companion. Suddenly, an idea sparked in his mind. A desperate, seemingly impossible idea that might just give them a fighting chance. "Wolves," Liam said, his voice barely above a whisper. The others fell silent, confused by his sudden statement. Liam explained his plan, recounting the ancient bond between humans and wolves, how they once fought and hunted together as partners. If they could find and train a pack of wolves, they might be able to use their heightened senses and hunting skills to gain an advantage over the aliens. At first, the group was skeptical. Wolves were wild animals, not pets or soldiers. But as Liam laid out the details of his plan, a glimmer of hope began to spread among the survivors. It was a long shot, but it was the only shot they had. With renewed determination, the group set out to search for the last remaining wolf populations, hidden deep within the forests that now served as their sanctuary. Little did they know that this desperate plan would change the course of the war and forge an unbreakable bond between two species, united against a common enemy. The wolves' awakening. Deep within the ancient forests, Liam and his group searched tirelessly for signs of wolves. They knew that finding these elusive creatures would be no easy task, but they pressed on, driven by the knowledge that this was their last hope. Days turned into weeks as they tracked through the dense undergrowth, following faint trails and listening for distant howls. Finally, as the sun dipped below the horizon on a particularly challenging day, they heard it, the unmistakable cry of a wolf echoing through the trees. With renewed energy, they followed the sound, eventually coming upon a small pack of wolves. The animals were wary at first, keeping their distance from the humans. But Liam, drawing upon his knowledge of animal behavior, slowly began to build trust with the pack. It was a delicate process, requiring patience and understanding. Liam and his team spent countless hours observing the wolves, learning their habits and social structure. They brought offerings of food and gradually introduced themselves to the pack, letting the wolves become accustomed to their presence. As the days passed, a bond began to form between the humans and the wolves. The animals started to see the humans as part of their pack, and the humans, in turn, learned to communicate with their new companions. They trained together, honing their skills and developing a deep understanding of each other's strengths and weaknesses. Emily, the young girl who had first sparked the idea, formed a particularly strong connection with a young wolf she named Luna. The two became inseparable, and Emily's courage and determination seemed to grow with each passing day. Weeks turned into months, and the human wolf teams grew stronger and more coordinated. They began to venture out from their forest sanctuary, conducting small-scale raids on Zorgan outposts and supply lines. The wolves' keen senses and natural stealth proved invaluable, allowing the humans to strike swiftly and disappear back into the wilderness before the aliens could mount a counterattack. News of their successes began to spread among the scattered human resistance cells. Tales of the Wolf Riders and their daring exploits became legends, sparking hope in the hearts of those who had all but given up. It was during one of these raids that the human wolf teams achieved their first major victory. They ambushed a Zorgan convoy transporting vital supplies and weapons, using the wolves' speed and agility to outmaneuver the alien defenses. The battle was fierce, but the humans and their wolf companions emerged triumphant, dealing a significant blow to the Zorgan's operations in the region. As they stood amidst the wreckage of the alien vehicles, catching their breath and tending to their wounds, Liam looked around at his team, humans and wolves alike. They had come so far, and though the road ahead was still long and uncertain, he knew that they had a chance. With the wolves by their side, humanity would not go quietly into the night. The tide turns. As word of the human-wolf victories spread, more and more resistance cells began to seek out their own wolf companions. Liam and his team took on the role of mentors, teaching others how to bond with and train the wolves. Soon, human-wolf teams were operating across the globe, striking at the Zorgans with increasing frequency and effectiveness. The aliens, who had once viewed the humans as little more than pests to be exterminated, now found themselves on the defensive. They had never encountered an enemy like the wolves, whose speed, agility, and heightened senses made them formidable adversaries. The Zorgans' advanced technology, which had given them such an advantage in the early days of the invasion, now seemed less invincible in the face of this new threat. Liam and his team continued to lead the charge, coordinating with other resistance cells to plan larger, more ambitious attacks. They targeted key Zorgan strongholds and supply routes, slowly but surely chipping away at the aliens' hold on the planet. One such attack saw the human-wolf teams assaulting a heavily fortified Zorgan base, one that had long been considered impregnable. The wolves, with their keen noses and ears, were able to detect the alien patrols long before they could spot the humans, allowing Liam and his team to plan their approach with precision. As the battle raged, Emily and Luna found themselves at the forefront of the action. The young girl, who had once been so scared and unsure, now moved with the confidence and grace of a seasoned warrior. She and Luna worked together seamlessly, dodging enemy fire and taking down Zorgan soldiers with a combination of speed and cunning. In the end, the human-wolf team emerged victorious, capturing the base and dealing a significant blow to the Zorgans' operations in the region. News of their success spread like wildfire, inspiring hope and renewed determination in resistance cells across the planet. The Zorgans, realizing the severity of the threat posed by the human-wolf alliance, began to divert more and more resources to combating this new enemy. They developed specialized weapons and tactics designed specifically to counter the wolves, but the humans and their companions adapted quickly, staying one step ahead of the aliens. As the war raged on, Liam knew that they had reached a tipping point. The Zorgans were no longer the invincible force they had once seemed. With each victory, the human-wolf teams grew stronger, more confident, and more united in their cause. But the aliens were far from defeated, and Liam knew that the hardest battles were still to come. The Zorgans, desperate to maintain their grip on the planet, would stop at nothing to crush the resistance once and for all. As he looked out over the war-torn landscape, Liam steeled himself for the challenges ahead, knowing that the fate of humanity rested on the strength and courage of the unlikely alliance they had forged. The aliens' desperate measures. As the human-wolf teams continued to strike at the heart of the Zorgan occupation, the aliens grew increasingly desperate. They poured all their resources into developing new weapons and strategies to counter the wolves, determined to crush the resistance once and for all. The Zorgans began deploying specialized drones equipped with sonic emitters, designed to disorient and incapacitate the wolves. They also introduced genetically engineered creatures, bred to hunt down and eliminate the human wolf teams. These new threats posed a significant challenge to the Resistance, forcing them to adapt their tactics and rely even more heavily on their bond with the wolves. Liam and his team found themselves at the forefront of this escalating conflict, engaging in increasingly intense battles against the Zorgons' new weapons. The sonic drones proved particularly difficult to counter, as their high-frequency emissions could penetrate even the densest foliage, making it hard for the wolves to use their natural stealth to their advantage. During one such battle, Liam's team found themselves pinned down by a swarm of drones, their position rapidly becoming untenable. Emily and Luna, who had been scouting ahead, suddenly burst from the underbrush, charging towards the drones with a fierce determination. To everyone's surprise, Luna let out a howl at a frequency that seemed to disrupt the drone's sonic emitters. The drones faltered, their emissions stuttering and fading, giving Liam and his team the opening they needed to destroy them. The victory was short-lived, however, as a pack of the Zorgons' genetically engineered hunters arrived on the scene. The creatures were fast, strong, and relentless, and the human wolf team soon found themselves fighting for their lives. The battle was brutal, with heavy losses on both sides. Liam watched in horror as several of his companions fell to the hunters' vicious attacks, but the wolves, with their speed and ferocity, managed to turn the tide, taking down the creatures one by one. As the last hunter fell, Liam and his team gathered to tend to their wounds and mourn their fallen comrades. It was then that they made a startling discovery. One of the Zorgon drones, damaged but still functional, had been captured during the battle. With the help of their tech experts, the Resistance was able to hack into the drone systems, revealing a trove of information about the Zorgons' technology and weaknesses. Among the data was a reference to a central control hub, a facility that seemed to coordinate all of the aliens' operations on Earth. If they could take out this hub, it could cripple the Zorgons' ability to wage war and give the humans the advantage they so desperately needed. But the facility was sure to be heavily guarded, and any assault would be a massive undertaking. As Liam studied the data, he knew that they had to act fast. The Zorgons, aware of the security breach, would undoubtedly be moving to fortify the control hub. It was now or never. The fate of humanity hung in the balance, and the human wolf teams were the only ones who could tip the scales in their favor. The final push. Armed with the knowledge of the Zorgons' central control hub, Liam and the Resistance leaders began planning their final assault. They knew that this was their one chance to strike a decisive blow against the aliens and free Earth from their oppressive rule. Resistance cells from across the planet gathered, each bringing their own teams of human-wolf partnerships. Among them were Emily and Luna, who had become symbols of hope and resilience for the entire Resistance movement. The plan was risky, but it was the best chance they had. The human-wolf teams would launch a coordinated attack on the control hub, using their speed, stealth, and the wolves' newly discovered ability to disrupt the Zorgons' technology to their advantage. Meanwhile, Resistance hackers would work to infiltrate the hub's systems, seeking to disable the aliens' defenses from within. As the Resistance forces assembled outside the control hub, Liam could feel the tension in the air. This was the moment they had all been fighting for, the chance to finally turn the tide of the war and reclaim their planet. With a final rallying cry, Liam led the charge, the human-wolf teams surging forward as one. The Zorgons, despite their advanced technology and genetically engineered creatures, were caught off guard by the sheer ferocity and coordination of the assault. The wolves, their howls echoing across the battlefield, disrupted the aliens' sonic weapons and drones, while their human partners fought with a determination born of desperation and hope. Emily and Luna were at the forefront of the battle, their bond stronger than ever as they faced down the Zorgon defenses. Inside the control hub, the Resistance hackers worked tirelessly to breach the alien systems. They battled through layers of security, racing against time as the fight raged outside. Finally, with a triumphant shout, they succeeded in disabling the hub's primary defenses, sending the Zorgons into disarray. With the defenses down, the human-wolf teams pressed their advantage, pushing deeper into the control hub. They faced fierce resistance from the Zorgon's elite guards, but nothing could stop the tide of humanity and their wolf allies. As the battle neared its climax, Liam found himself face to face with the Zorgon commander, a towering alien armed with a devastating energy weapon. The two engaged in a furious duel, trading blows and blasts as the fate of the planet hung in the balance. Just when it seemed that Liam would be overwhelmed, Emily and Luna burst onto the scene, Luna's howl disrupting the commander's weapon long enough for Liam to land the final blow. With the commander defeated and the control hub in ruins, the Zorgon's hold on Earth began to crumble. The resistance forces emerged from the smoking ruins of the control hub, battered but victorious. They had done the impossible, striking a blow against the alien invaders that would change the course of the war. But even as they celebrated their triumph, they knew that the fight was not yet over. The Zorgons, though weakened, were still a threat, and the road to true freedom would be long and hard. But for now, in this moment of victory, the humans and their wolf companions stood tall, united in their determination to reclaim their world and build a better future for all. A new era. In the wake of the Zorgon's defeat, Earth was left scared but unbroken. The ruins of cities and the ashes of battlefields bore witness to the incredible struggle that had taken place, a testament to the resilience and determination of the human spirit. As the resistance fighters emerged from their hidden bases and strongholds, they were greeted by a world forever changed. The Zorgons, their control hub destroyed and their forces in disarray, had begun a hasty retreat, their dreams of conquest shattered by the unlikely alliance of humans and wolves. Liam, Emily, Luna, and the other survivors of the resistance began the long and arduous process of rebuilding. They worked tirelessly to restore what had been lost, to create a new society from the ashes of the old. It was a daunting task, but they faced it with the same courage and determination that had carried them through the war. The wolves, once seen as mere animals, were now regarded as heroes and equals. They had fought alongside their human companions, risking their lives for a cause that was not their own. The bond between humans and wolves, forged in the fires of war, had become unbreakable. As the years passed, the world began to heal. Cities were rebuilt, and new communities emerged, each one a testament to the strength and resilience of the human-wolf alliance. Emily and Luna, now inseparable, became symbols of this new era, their partnership a shining example of what could be achieved when two species work together in harmony. Liam, his battle-worn face now etched with the lines of wisdom and experience, took on the role of leader and guide. He worked to ensure that the lessons of the war were never forgotten, that the sacrifices made by so many were honored and remembered. Under his guidance, the human-wolf alliance flourished. New generations were born and raised, each one taught the value of cooperation, respect, and the unbreakable bond between humans and their wolf companions. The world that emerged was one of balance and harmony, a far cry from the chaos and destruction that had once threatened to consume it. As Liam looked out over this new world, he felt a sense of pride and accomplishment. They had faced the impossible and emerged victorious, not just over the Zorgons, but over their own doubts and fears. They had proven that when faced with annihilation, humanity would not go quietly into the night, but would instead fight with every ounce of strength and courage they possessed. And they had not fought alone. The wolves, their loyal companions and partners, had been with them every step of the way. Together, they had forged a new future, one in which the bonds of friendship and unity would never again be broken. As the sun set on this new earth, Liam knew that the road ahead would not be easy. There would be challenges and obstacles to overcome, new enemies to face, and new battles to fight. But he also knew that as long as humans and wolves stood together, as long as the bonds of friendship and loyalty remained strong, there was nothing they could not achieve. With a smile on his face and a glimmer of hope in his eyes, Liam turned to face the future, ready for whatever lay ahead. For he knew that the dawn of a new era had arrived, and that the legend of the Human-Wolf Alliance would live on forever, a testament to the unbreakable spirit of those who had fought and won against all odds.